Today is Wednesday, the 7th day of December 2022. Wednesday, 7th 12th 2022. This is Power Corridor. Power Corridor is a non-partisan platform for discussions aimed at giving clarity, balance, and setting the right agenda for societal change. To join the conversation live or catch up on previous episodes of the program, you want to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/LawFM Radio, facebook.com/LawFM Radio. As we speak, this episode is literally been live streamed on that platform, facebook.com/LawFM Radio. Our Instagram page is at LawFM Radio. Our Twitter handle is at LawFM_radio. And you can listen live on our website from anywhere in the world on www.lawfmng.com, www.lawfmng.com. The studio numbers, when eventually the lines are opened for direct interaction with the guest, the studio numbers that you need to save at this juncture, the studio numbers are 070-322-77338, 070-322-77338, or 090-9555-1039, 090-9555-1039. You can also send WhatsApp and text messages on those lines. My name, as usual, is Gbola Oba, and I'm available on social media, facebook.com/Gbola.Oba, facebook.com/Gbola.Oba, Instagram at Gbola_Oba or at Gbola Oba. My Twitter handles are at Gbola_Oba, at Oba_Gbola, or at Gbola Oba. Our Nigerian proverb for today, which is going to be repeated at some point when we get into the mainstream of the program, our Nigerian proverb for today says, "The child that the parents have refused to invest training and education in will squander the investment assets the parents have built." The child that the parents have refused to invest training, quality training and education in, will ultimately squander the investment assets the parents may have built. Is a Yoruba adage. Ọmọ tí a kọ́ ló máa gbé ilé ta kọ́tà. Summary analysis of some of today's major news headlines. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has arrested and detained Afropop music maestro Oladapo Oyebanji, popularly known as the Banj, over alleged fund diversion of millions of Empower funds in collaboration with some government officials. It is reported that the Banj has been arrested for collusion with some government officials in allegedly misappropriating funds meant for the empowerment of the youths through the Empower program. We see how that pans out. The Senate on Wednesday, that's today, the Senate on Wednesday threatened to slash the allocations of about 100 government establishments comprising ministries, departments, and agencies that failed to respond to the queries raised against them in a report by the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation. About time our legislatures, especially at the National Assembly level and at the states of the Federation, about time they became more articulate in asserting this constitutional right of appropriation and the right of oversight that they have. I want to believe that the degeneracy we have in our democracy now is as a result of the sloppiness and the low quality of the members of our legislatures, National Assembly and the states houses of assembly. And lastly, for this segment, body of benchers, MBA tackles Olanipekun insists he must resign. MBA, Nigerian Bar Association, has obstinately held on to the position that Chief Olanipekun needs to resign his chairmanship of the body of benchers because of the allegations dovetailing the conduct of one of his chambers, ex-chambers member, regarding, we don't want to go into the details of that, but it's interesting. We'll wrap it up for this segment and we'll see you after the commercials.
They say that knowledge is power, but here, knowledge of the law and your rights is true power.
So you see that from recent happenings, we've seen that people have started, to fight for their rights.
When you listen to this station, you learn about your rights. You discover the law in ways you never imagined. You know why? Because we broadcast in your interest.
It's a problem that we are all experiencing in the country. Different parts of the country, the same thing is happening. So what do we call on to? Who do we hold responsible?
We impact knowledge.
If the grid is unable to shed the load that it ought to, it could also result in the collapse of the national grid.
Call it what you may, but we are here to stay. The law was never biased, so why should it be now? To every individual, we are Law FM 103.9.
There are no internal electricity boards.
Hold on tight.
I'm Femi Pedro.
My name is Honorable Akinwale.
This is Honorable Adekunle Akobada.
I'm Billy Momodu, and you are listening to Law FM 103.9 for knowledge and entertainment.
The only law radio station.
This is Law FM Radio
103.9
for knowledge and entertainment.
Entertainment, your favorite radio station's favorite radio station.
Sports just got better. For in-depth analysis on the world's biggest sporting stories like basketball,
LeBron James with no regard for human life,
football, and so much more. Join the Law FM Sports Crew. Follow the Master Planner, Kofo and Sheung every weekday from 6:15 to 7 p.m. right here on Law FM 103.9. Enjoy sports like never before.
You won't get knowledge, you won't get wisdom. Continue to listen to Law FM 103.9 for knowledge and entertainment.
Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9.
Welcome back to Power Corridor. Welcome back to Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9. Power Corridor is a non-partisan radio platform through which issues are discussed with the aim to giving clarity, balance, and setting the right agenda for society. We are streaming this episode live on Facebook, www.facebook.com/lawfmradio, www.facebook.com/lawfmradio, And if you want anybody to listen to this episode as it is broadcast live anywhere in the world, you may want that person to log into our website www.lawfmng.com. The telephone numbers to call when the lines are eventually opened for direct interaction or interactivity with our guest. The numbers are 07032277338, 07032277338, or 09095551039, 09095551039. You can also send WhatsApp and text messages on those numbers. We now do what we usually do before we formally introduce our guest. And our topic for today, before we introduce our guest, encapsulates or depicts my experience on the Echo Bridge this morning. I had an appointment to be at the female custodial facility of the Kirikiri Correctional Establishment, and I mistakenly took the Echo Bridge wanting to get down on did I see? It took me more than 3 hours from the National Theatre Castle roundabout ascent to the Igomu exit, about 1 kilometer distance. More than 3 hours on that bridge. And whilst I was there, I saw the degeneracy of the existence of humanity around the environs of the National Theatre. To think that more than $200 million has just been spent on the rehabilitation of the National Theatre. And whilst I took pictures, all the pictures are on my Facebook page with this story with which I accompanied the pictures. This, quote unquote, as that famous dictum says, is Lagos, quote unquote. Location: these pictures were taken from Echo Bridge Lane inward the island, looking down at the sprawling, polluted Igomu Lake environs of the National Theatre, as captured from my smartphone's camera this frustrating morning. Whilst wait for it, spending 3 hours between the constant roundabout / National Theatre ascent of Echo Bridge and its Igomu exit, a distance of less or just about 1 kilometer. Like virtually all human inhabited environments, it is the best visual representation or definition of the quality of humanity living, in this instance subsisting in that environment, irrespective of their partisan divide. After all, those Japanese football fans who picked up the litter around themselves on the stadium's pavilion after sometimes losing a match couldn't have all voted for one single party in a multi-party society that Japan's polity is. The paradox of these pictures are manifold for me. 1. Anywhere in the world, an ongoing light rail civil works would ordinarily speak to cutting-edge physical infrastructural development, but as that Yoruba truism, Omota Kolo Magbeleta Kota, the child that the parents have refused to invest training and education in will squander the investment assets the parents have built. 2. The futility of money in beautifying the environment of an ugly soul. This is in the backdrop of the fact that more than $200 million has just been spent rehabilitating the National Theatre. And yet, if you look panoramically at the National Theatre in that environment, is sitting in the middle of a dirty body of water. 3. that as Nigerians we need to skill and enterprise empower our people out of existential poverty. Beneath that bridge, around the sprawling polluted body of water, the lake surrounding National Theatre, you see subhumanity in existence, people who look unkempt conducting themselves and you just wonder what is the value of your own life if you live amongst people in a so-called megacity who still live in this condition. It is in the backdrop of this that I will introduce our guest today, who should know and is aspiring to be a change agent. Kola, are you there?
I am here, my lovely brother. I've been listening to you, and I'm a little bit upset. As you are recalling something that's obvious to millions of us. But yes, I'm here. And I'm looking forward to being on your program. Thank you so much for inviting me. My lovely brother, Kola.
We still have to do it right because we need to formally introduce you. You were supposed to have been in the studio, but also you got caught up in the traffic between Bodilon and Lekki Phase 1, and you've been at it for quite...
I'm now 8 minutes away and 2.4 kilometers. So frustrating. Where we should have been in the office at yours for about 4:30, and here we are at nearly 25 past before we get there. That's the challenge in our country today.
Welcome to Lagos. Your Lagos, my Lagos, and the Lagos that we all and factually so, and the Lagos that we all boastfully claim to be. Okay, do me the favor of formally introducing yourself, your name, and the reason why I've invited you to guest on the show today.
Thank you very much, my lovely brother Gbola. What you're doing for the nation, first of all, let me commend you. An impartial radio station that's actually conveying the concerns of our people to the whole nation. So for me, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. My name is Kola Akinwale, Honorable Kola Akinwale. I am an IT consultant. I was invited over a year ago by my principal, Mr. Akin British, who has also been on this program. He is running for the governorship of Lagos State under the party named National Rescue Movement Party, NRM. It's the yellow, prominent yellow, color with a B. I'm running myself as a down ballot for the House of Assembly in Ikeja Constituency 1. One reason why I'm running is very simple. I grew up in this country, that's why I've been born abroad. Went to Lady Lac, in Stiviaba, went to CMS Grammar School, I was a senior prefect there. Went to University of Lagos, and I served youth service in 1985. So, and during those times, the country was much, much better than what it is now. We just got sick and tired of waiting on failed promises, putting comments on WhatsApp and social media. Nigeria needs competent, capable leaders. Otherwise, we are really going to sink a lot faster than we think. Enough is enough. We need people who are ready to serve. I'm ready to serve. I'm not hungry. I'm an IT consultant. I make enough to keep me and my family together. So I'm not here to pillage. I just want to be part of a group of people who can be change agents. So let's not recycle the old guard. Anybody that wants to put himself forward again must show what is delivered over the last 4 years. If they cannot, including myself, if I get elected, then I should not be fit to be in office. So it's about accountability this time around. No messing around.
Okay,
I'm afraid.
Kola, to be honest with you, we practice a form of government, presidential system of government, that is in many respects, apart from the fact that liberal democracies, by the very nature of the respect that liberal democracies should have for its humanity, the rule of law, and the processes, the presidential system of government is in itself peculiarly and particularly sclerotic. And I'm listening to somebody like you who has lived in the diaspora for a while, who is quite successful in many respects, who is used to the orderliness of an environment that I also once lived in, and I'm thinking this is a guy who wants to come and contest in Lagos, and Lagos, not only Lagos, but indeed the system of government we practice in Nigeria at the federal and subnational, at the national and the subnational levels could be very frustrating. How are you prepared emotionally, psychologically, intellectually for some of the lacerations you will get when you get into the field of play? Sorry if I sound a bit.
No. That's okay. I mean, look, the beauty about it is, as I said, despite being born abroad, I had the privilege of growing up in this country. So the very first 22 years of my life was spent in Nigeria, going to school in Bariga. So I'm actually quite emotionally, psychologically, I'm as tough as they come in terms of my. I forgot about the Oyibo and the English we speak. It's just by virtue of upbringing. Now, but as you lived abroad as well, thank God for that. The advantage of that is we'll be able to see things that we can adopt. But I believe that at the end of the day, to function in any office, you really have to be ready to build relationships with people. Now, that's what I do very well. I deliver technology projects for a living. There's no way I'll be successful without a collaborating with people and engaging with people. What I've been trying to advocate, and that's why I've been telling people, please, we need to break the stronghold of the two main parties. And the reason why is very simple. There are good people across all of the 18 parties. If we can look at the antecedents of each candidate and then dilute the hold of the two parties on the State House, what that is going to do is it will facilitate an opportunity for us to talk to each other. So I, for example, come and talk to you and say, my Honorable Gbola, please support me in Ikeja. I want to get this sanitation sorted and this and that. And you then talk to your guys. You help me vote that through. The next time you are coming to me and saying, you know what, I need you to back me up and support my bill in the House as well. So it will facilitate lobbying. Right now, that's not going to happen. I have to be honest with you. Should I get into the House, I might be the isolated candidate, and they say, leave him, he's just speaking grammar. When it comes to voting, they will vote me out. Because the two parties have the excess of numbers, which a small party like mine may not have. Are you with me? And I have to prepare myself for that, but I'm very confident about building relationships with people in the corridor of power. So whether they're ADC, PDP, whatever they are, I know that when I get into the House, I will make friends with them. And I believe that these guys are also in there wanting what I want, which is to bring about change in Lagos. So I believe we'll figure it out between ourselves. I'm very confident about that. Okay. And I'm ready for whatever comes.
Let me quickly chip this in. A gentleman called me this morning. Actually, a younger friend called me this morning and he said, Gbola, do you still run those your training institutes? And I said, yes. And he said he had somebody he wanted to introduce to me, and ultimately the person called. I couldn't even answer, but I called back like I promised I was going to call. I called back, and the person said he's a contestant on the platform of the PDP somewhere around Orile Gomu. Indeed, according to him, he was trying to reach me because he was told that I have a training institute where youngsters could be trained in plumbing skills. He is particular about plumbing skills because Orile Gomu is the sub-regional capital for plumbing wares, sanitary wares, anyway. And I said, you know what, you are a lucky man. I've got scholarships to the tune of hundreds of millions of naira to train young Nigerians, but they're not coming. If you could use your political clout, your social clout in your neighborhood to mobilize them to come and that will not only train them in plumbing, we've got bricklaying skills, we've got steel fixing skills and all the sorts. But I then said something to him that would apply to somebody like you. Many a times, those of you who are contesting for legislative
Can I give you the good news? I'm actually 500 meters from you. I've just come
no, never mind. Let's just do it as best as we could, given the circumstance we found ourselves. And I was telling the gentleman, I said, you know what? Those of you contesting for legislative offices may not know that you sometimes wrongly send the picture out there as though when you are elected, you can function like an executive chieftain of state. A legislator is supposed to make laws. If you give them the expectation, this thing that when you go in, you will just be sponsoring courses or you'll be sending people on this thing, your allowances will not be enough. And I don't want to encourage you to, we joked about it. How do you want to respond to that? That sometimes people tend to innocuously, unknowingly give the impression that you are running for executive office, and that sometimes stimulates the beggarly attitude of our people wanting you to bear the cost of
radio station, there's a radio station around here.
Oh, glory. Anyway.
I'm here. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So how would you want to respond to that? I know you are negotiating the entrance to the...
I'm trying to find you. I'm on your street, so I'm trying to find my guy. So, yes, but well, one has got to be very clear, and I think I've made this clear to some of the locals that I've consulted. I said, look, as a legislator, one of our primary functions is actually to look at the bills, get new bills into play. Maybe I even amend existing bills depending on the relevance, and then for the bills that have actually already been passed, to then provide some oversight functions. And part of the oversight functions may bring us in contact or in connection with the local government, for example, to put pressure on them to try and execute and implement what will bring about a better environment. A better environment, sort of an enabling environment for
okay, you know what we do? Let's give you a break. Let's let you negotiate your way to the studio. You are literally, I guess, around the premises as we speak. So let's just do, and some people are actually blasting our lines, wanting to contribute, I guess, to maybe my intro or some of the things you said. So let's take the calls.
Awesome. Okay, I'll
Hello, caller. Good evening. How are you today? Where are you calling from?
My name is Kefi. I'm calling from Ikeja.
And your name is?
Kefi.
Okay, Kefi. The floor is all yours. How would you want to partake in the program?
I just want to say I'm a very big fan of Collaborator and all his works. I got to meet him via Instagram. I was only using the IG, I think last 2 weeks, and I just saw an IG post, and then I loved all he said he was going to do. I'm actually not a person that likes politics, but after reading what he said he was going to do, I went on his page, I followed him on IG, I also went on Twitter, I followed him on Twitter. If what he says for Ikeja people is going to come to pass and can come to pass, Ikeja will be a very, very better place. I am so proud of all he has to say. But you
agree with me that in that neighborhood or in that constituency, you are probably a minority. How many people are as internet savvy as you are? How many people could have encountered him online when majority of the voters in that constituency may not even have smartphones?
Even without having smartphones, I feel by me talking about him, I'm not actually big on politics, but I think seeing all he has to do, I am willing to go out of my way, and I'm of voting age, and I have a lot of friends that are voting age, and we all have our PVCs. So I just kept talking to them that, see what this man is saying.
Who are you going to vote for the presidential ticket?
Definitely.
For the presidential ticket,
I'm going to be voting for Peter Obi.
Okay, but down the line at the House of Assembly, you're doing collaborator, as you guys call him in your neighborhood.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much.
You know one thing I need to say before you go.
Yes,
the irony of it is that if you people could mobilize yourselves to go out, the difference between those who end up being voted for winning those seats and those who lose sometimes are numbers that people who watch football in the neighborhood could make up for. But because we don't respond to that civic duty, those that we don't necessarily agree with end up representing us. I hope you will leave your word for your convictions at the presidential ticket and down the rounds. Thank you.
I believe coming this election, a difference will be made with the way the youth are eager this year. We're eager to take our future in our hands and change it.
I hope so too. I hope so too. And I really want the youth. I really want the youth to make that much of a mark to let the Nigerian political class know that they cannot and should not be taken for granted. Best of luck.
Sir. Thank you very much, sir.
If you're listening to us and you want to chip in on, okay, we've got messages to read. Collaborator, I like the name, very catchy. Been seeing your campaign on social media recently, and I think you have the passion, and that's actually what Ikeja needs. I wish you all the best, sir. Mono for Lagos. I really think these youngsters will make a dramatic difference. We have another message. We may even have to repeat this when the gentleman comes into the studio. You know, I'm a technology immigrant. You think I'm a technology native like you? You are doing all this yo. Politicians always come out with promises every 4 years. We don't see any changes. I was reading your profile and was impressed. Hopefully when you win, you will do all that you say. You will do all that you say, because Ikeja really needs it. K from Ikeja. The truth as we speak is that those who represent us ultimately reflect who we are. If we take the duty lightly, then the numbers to call, should you want to engage with the studio, 070-322-77338, 070-322-77338, or 090-9555-1039, 090-9555-1039. Those are the numbers to call. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Where exactly are you?
Well, I'm actually outside 21 Adebisi Ogunye Crescent.
Okay.
It's a lovely house, but I'm not sure.
It's a lovely house. I don't do things that are not lovely. Yes, people seldom believe is a radio station. Whenever you know what you want to do, just stay by the gate. They will. It's an automated gate. Somebody will automatically open the gate for you. Come in and tell them you are coming to the studio. It's a lovely thing. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
We go on a short commercial. I think it's incumbent on me now, after all the challenges the gentleman had faced to get here, to find a way of ushering him into the studios. Go on a short commercial, please.
Let's have fun.
It doesn't get better than this.
103.9 Low FM.
Just in from the south.
When the news breaks, Raw FM 103.9 delivers it accurately. Join us at 6:30 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Don't miss it.
For or against?
My mother served my father and she enjoyed her life. She never saw it as limiting.
This is the 21st century. Things are different. Women are more career focused.
No. Don't tell me that.
What are we saying? That is why this bill.
All sides cannot be right nor wrong. Welcome to the Low FM Parliament. Connect with us every weekday from 9 to 10 a.m. on Low FM 103.9.
Looking for a listening ear? A safe space. A place where you can relieve your heart and tell your stories. Then join Wyre on Low FM 103.9, 8 p.m. every weekday on the show, telling life stories. Experience a conversation on radio like no other.
Today's headlines.
Senate passes bill to increase number of law school campuses. Heavy rainfall kills 11 in Ecuador.
This is good news. So it's this kind of news that I like. This will actually reduce overpopulation in our law campuses.
This is the menace to this society. This is the problem we're having. What kind of news is this?
What kind of news is this?
So are we saying they can keep people?
Uncertain sway, volatile, balanced views. All of these and more on Newspaper Review from 10:30 to 10:55 a.m. on 103.9 Law FM.
Hello? Is that Law FM?
Hold on tight. I'm Olufemi Pedro.
My name is Honorable Akinwale.
This is Honorable Adekunle Akobada.
I'm Billy Momodu, and you are listening to Law FM 103.9 for knowledge and entertainment.
The only law radio station.
This is
The station for knowledge and entertainment.
Law FM 103.9. Power Corridor on Law FM 103.9. FM 103.9.
Welcome back to Power Corridor, Law FM 103.9. The gentleman is in our studios, literally in our studios as we speak, seated. Want him to calm down a bit, and let me use the opportunity to intimate you with the fact that if you really want to watch this episode live, streamed live on facebook.com/lawfm radio, facebook.com/lawfm radio. The studio numbers, should you want to call and directly interact with collaborator, the studio numbers are 07032277338, 07032277338, or 09095551039, 09095551039. Good to have you in our studio, Kola.
It's a pleasure to be here, my lovely brother. So nice to meet you. I love the outfit. You're gonna tell me who your tailor is.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that afterwards. Another reality of Lagos just crushed you emotionally, and one of the realities of Lagos is not peculiar to Lagos. Any mega city presents that. You lived for so long in England. Yes. I lived in England too, and I know that moving around London in a vehicular object could sometimes be very frustrating.
Yes.
But having said that, this is the only mega city on the face of the earth, if my memory serves me well, and I read voraciously, this is the only mega city on the face of the earth that does not have a functional light rail system. We may get one by early 2023. At least the blue line is being real tested now, but this is the only one that does not have a functional light rail system. How do you then want to be a legislator in such an environment?
Well, I think I'll say this. I think the reason why this country has been in a state of flux, in my view, and I say this, the successive governments haven't done enough, sadly. In other countries, in the developed countries, the Dubais, the UKs, the USs of this world, I think of the public officers glory in, I got here, there was only one road. By the time I left, there's 10 roads, there's this, there's that. That's what they glory in. In Nigeria, that's not been the case. We've just seems to have taken a backward step in all areas. There's a lot of money to throw around. We have very smart people, probably one of the smartest black people ever come across. You see that all over the world. Nigerians are superstars. It's only in our country that for some reason, we just seem to not have the right competent people running things in all tiers of government. And I'm sorry to say that, I say that with all respect. Those who could really run cannot even afford to. Just getting a ticket to run is a challenge. How much more being able to get into the whole campaign process? Unless we have capable, competent leaders driving things from the presidency all the way through to even local government, our country has got no chance. Our problem is not money. We have a resource problem. We have a people problem. I'll give you an example. If you take the Oyinbos or the Chinese, put them in this country, in less than 3 years, they'll turn this country neither to China, to Dubai, to the UK, to the US. Take the current Nigerian set-up government, put them in all those countries. In 18 months, they will turn those countries into Nigeria. I also have to say this, and I say this with all respect. Each and every one of us also are culpable as well.
Fantastic. I was actually...
The way people drive out there is crazy.
I was actually going to pull you to that because let's be very honest with ourselves. I remember as a student of our institution in 1981, I was in Costec then. I was an avid reader of Newsweek magazine, like I used to avidly read Time, and a Chinese family was actually celebrating the fact that they bought their first black and white TV. I was already watching color TV in Mushin, and China was look. I was telling somebody this morning, and it's even on my Facebook page. I said, China took 800 million people out of poverty in less than 20 calendar years. So it's not so much about we've got callers. My callers take precedence. They are the reason the show is. Caller, good evening. This evening, your name and where you're calling from. Oh, the line cut. Okay, so I said to the person, we are all guilty, including Gbola Oba, because there must be something about us that when we go to places like UK, when we go to places like United States of America, as we speak, a cabinet secretary was a girl that left the shores of Nigeria less than 10-15 years ago. The undersecretary for Treasury, one of the most powerful offices in the United States of America, the father was a headmaster in Osun. The boy is now the Secretary for Treasury, United States of America cabinet. So it's not about who we are, it's just about when we get home, there's a madness. How would you respond to that, given your ambition?
Thank you very much. My friends have said, NRM. I used to actually be in ADC, and I will always say this. I'm not trying to publicize it. I'm just saying they gave us the first break into politics. I'm less than a year old, or just about a year old in politics. So if you think about it, my surname is Akinwale. None of my family has ever been in politics. My principal, Mr. Braithwaite, by the way, Dr. Tunji Braithwaite has been in politics, so Egmo has an advantage, I don't. Under normal circumstances, politics is not something where you go and stand there and wave a flag and say, just invite me in. So in the so-called bigger parties, which my friends say, why are you not in APC? Why are you not in PDP? Why are you not in that? I don't think it's about the parties where you are. I believe that each of the 18 political parties are trying to head in the same direction. It's just a matter of how do they get there. What NRM has given me is a chance to get on the starting blocks with everybody else, the guys from ADC, APC, and yes, I don't have their watches, but I think what I have is the competence, the intelligence, the emotional and the ability to actually get things done for my country.
It may not just be enough to an intellectually hollowed out electorate, to an electorate for whom poverty has been weaponized. These guys are the victims. You see, when I look at the situation in Nigeria, I always want to challenge myself that as a leader, Gbola, you cannot think like an equivalent, say, in the United Kingdom or in Germany. These are places I've lived before, because they have a basic quality of investment that they've inputted into humanity.
Yes.
So you can actually reason at a level and the people will follow you. Look, on my Facebook page as we speak, I was on Eco Bridge, and I took the pictures, and I was looking, Gbola, where do you start with somebody who is living like he or she is in a bestial state? And that is the condition that most of our electors or members of the electorate. So I'm wondering, what are the value innovations that somebody like you will bring to the table, because you can't compete with the war chest that the main parties have. What are the a youngster just called when we broke the line. She called and said she's actually in your constituency, and that she would vote Peter Obi for presidency, but would vote for you as House of Assembly because you know what, you stand out. And I was asking her, how many constituents in that constituency would have the privilege of a smartphone, be able to be, because she met you online. She met you, I guess you did some Twitter campaign. So what are the value innovations with which you need to engage the majority? And the numbers are not high. The people who elect members of House of Assembly in Lagos, you want me to shock you? Sometimes they are not even up to 20,000.
I heard that. Yes. Well, it's actually interesting. So I have a great team around me, and I think what I have been privileged, I've been super blessed with, is the kind of people that I've met over the last year. These are young men and women who have been there. They've run campaigns with the big parties before, but they are disoriented with them, and they were looking for some fresh blood, somebody who is not. A lot
of those kids are disillusioned, especially the well-educated ones.
Exactly, and look, the battle is really at the grassroots, and I tell people this. When on the election day, people like us, middle class, or whatever we want to call us, and I tell my people, I challenge them. I said, I'm going to do the same as well. You hold the umbrella in this hot sun, even if it's 6 hours, you line up and you vote. Those who really vote are the grassroots people. They put themselves on line.
Especially the women folk.
Exactly.
The women I used to mock my mother. The circumstances we were in Mushi in those days. Whenever the politicians would come back on, they would one dash of one. In those days, they even used to contribute monies to UPN. Yes. My mother would come home every Friday and tell me to check her. To check like a susu pass, but it was their contributions to UPN. And I say, Yeleja, Jakonde is coming to Mushi. You close your stall. You are the only person that answer yourself. Exactly. These women suffer a lot, and they get so pity little.
It's true. Well, we are looking. Look, the part of the game plan is to engage the locals, and I'm going to be going out on those rounds. My team has said that you can do so much on social media. That's a section of the community, but the real people, the people who are feeling the pain day by day, are not people like you and I. No matter what goes on in Nigeria, you and I will always be comfortable. I'm doing this from a point of pain of those many people. How many people have you blessed this?
I've got this message for you on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Good evening. Hashtag Power Corridor. Gbola Oba, be thanking God that you were not robbed while you are on a lockdown on the road. Lagos Road isn't friendly. In fact, people with choice exotic vehicles are targeted. I've said on many platforms, I am not going to vote for any candidate from the tested and failed parties in 2023. Enough is enough. I have found solace in other political party candidatures that are ready to serve the nation. On 2 occasions previously, they've made attempts to rob me whilst in traffic. On one occasion, I had to jump down of my vehicle, and the guttural motion language ko ba je fun ya yin ìwọ tí ya fs anyway ko why ara mo ko baba jasi and on another occasion, even when I did that, eventually the boys succumbed, but they had broken my windscreen. I had to go and change the windscreen with some money that I needed not to use. So I know what you're saying. I feel you. The people sit in their vehicles now, paranoid that anything. You want to respond to that?
Yes, well, it's funny. Yesterday evening, my wife was telling me that she had 2 clients heading in that direction. They were coming from Polo, 2 young ladies, and they were attacked. She actually ended up in our office having to, wash the broken glass off them, blood and all that. They took their phones, but luckily it did not involve their lives. This is not unusual, and we're not trying to condone that acts of violence or theft. But people are so stressed out with what's going on that, people can result. It's not condoning what's happening, but if we are not creating that enabling environment for people and not be able to meet them at their point of need, they will resort to all sorts.
We've left a larger chunk of humanity. We've left them behind in many respects.
I hear you.
And you see, I'm talking as somebody who was born into crass poverty, grew up in an environment where if it was not for the love of my mother and her insistence that I got quality education, my brother to survive into humanity would have been just a piece of cake. The numbers to call, we've got just less than 5 minutes to go. We can take about 2 more calls. And the numbers to call, should you want to engage with the studio or ask question from our guest, 070-322-77338, 070-322-77338, or 090-9555-1039. Kola, I'm sitting there thinking, what can a legislator do, especially at the subnational level, State House of Assembly, do to change these in an environment where the majority of your colleagues are likely still going to be Baba Sokwe members of the chamber?
Well, I'll tell you this. It's time we make a start in the right direction, which is why someone like me at 59 years of age has decided to get involved. My pain is seeing the youth driving Uber. You don't need a university degree for that. Seeing youth walking the streets aimlessly. I spoke recently at the NZA's gathering, and I asked a question: how many of you guys are, have been to uni and all that? And the hands went up. How many of you are employed? Only 4. I'm a parent myself. My children are not here. I'm pained because I could have really been, my children could have been here. How would I have a 34-year-old living in my house because we don't have an enabling environment? It's not something I can address as a legislator, but I'm challenging the government above me, the powers above me, to vote, to do the right thing. So those who are voted in, they have a massive responsibility. We will try and address things at local level. As a legislator, you have to look after oversight of, there's so many bills in existence. So we're not talking about creating new bills. Question is, how are you implementing the current ones? I'll give an example. I was at the Disability Center in Ikeja with my principal, and we met this lovely man, Mr. David, if he's hearing me. And I asked, he said, look, there's a Special People's Act 2010 that's already in play. And I asked the question, I'm a project manager, so I believe in action, not a talk. I said, how much has been delivered out of the so-called whatever has been laid out in that People's Act? He said, Mr. Kola, I'll say probably 10% each, if any. And I said, look, let me partner with you. Let me be your mouthpiece. I'm not disabled, but let me be your mouthpiece. Should I get into the house to start shining a torchlight on those that should be addressing that? If you go around this country, you don't see much for disabled people at all. It's as if they do not exist. How can that be the case? Same as women, same as children who are not well represented.
To be honest with you, we've become experts. We've become experts at. We've become experts at just making laws and letting those laws lie fallow.
Exactly.
And the victims, I was going to say the beneficiaries, but I deliberately pawned it to victims of such laws. I want to give you the opportunity before wrapping up. We have less than a minute to engage your constituents specifically now and let them know how they can best be part of the revolution. I want to call it revolution that you are endeavoring to foment in your constituency.
Thank you. Well, as I said, my name is Honorable Kola Akinwale. People call me the collaborator. You will start seeing my posters around Ikeja. It's very easy to know. It's that yellow poster with the B. But it's not really about that. I want you to vote for somebody who's committed to serve you. I have no right to be there. It's meant to be 4 years. When I get in, if I'm not consulting with you, if I'm not articulating your concerns, if I'm not trying to push the boundaries and engage the local government, making sure that sanitation and waste is being taken care of, amongst other things, trying to ginger and get kick-started the enabling environment in Ikeja 1, then please, I do not have a right to be there for 4 years. It's not anybody's right to be in power for 4 years where you're not delivering. It's time for us to be challenged and to be accountable as public officers. I hold myself to that state as well, and everybody else in Nigeria, everybody in public office needs to be accountable from 2023 onwards for what they do. That's from the presidency down to those in local government and even beyond. Thank you.
This is where we wrap it for this episode. For those who may want to catch up with the recorded version of the episode, you can also go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/lawfmradio. The program today has been produced. My studio Momo swapped with the Papa today. It's been produced by Paul Umoso. Paul, thank you. See you on Friday. No, it's not payday. It's Friday.
You are listening to Law FM